JM Race Engines is a new business in north central Missouri that have you covered from top to bottom for all your engine needs. Purpose-built engines with the correct amount of clearance will get you to the end of any show, whether it's your local shows or on the national level, where you can't be let down by your equipment. With top-level professional machine work to all engines, your choice of build is totally up to you. JM Race Engines will give you the confidence to push your equipment to the max while giving you your preferred horsepower to boot. From LS builds all the way to your exotic level small blocks that your imagination can only dream of, they have you covered.
But it doesn't stop there. They are also a speed shop that carries a variety of heads, carburetors, intakes, plug wires, helmets, and other safety equipment, and the best VP fuel on the market today to take you to the top. So if you're wanting mild build to wild build, let JM Race Engines help take you there. Triple B's Tees offer custom shirts and logo designs for all your apparel and merchandise needs, offering a variety of shirts, hats, hoodies, tumblers, and koozies. Triple B's will work with you one-on-one to personalize and perfect your logo. With over 5 years in the business, 20 years in the sport, they live for Demolition Derby.
Chunk and his crew can bring your imagination to realization with zero limitations. So for all your badass tees, choose Triple B's.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nosed Derby Podcast. What a motherfucking weekend.
Tired, Grandpa.
Too damn bad.
I'm tired, Grandpa.
You're tired. I hit the ground running when I got home.
Your hit the ground running is different, though, because you got to kind of it's not that you procrastinate it. It's that I'm not going to bullshit you. You're gone 4 or 5 days a week, and you got some catch up to do.
It's the constant switch from night to days.
That is the fuck part. I'd be all the way out.
I got rained out Thursday.
I had guys ask me, man, did you bring the equipment? You guys going to do an episode up here? I said, no, because I don't never know if you get to go or not.
Right.
So now it's a little bit different if I'm fly to Utah where we know you're not going. I could take it. But they're like, oh, you guys going to do one up here? I said, no, because I didn't know until 8 minutes before I got to the show on Thursday that you were coming.
Right. Well, I didn't either.
Hey, rained out. Hey, leaving Kansas City. Be there tonight. Cool. Get another phone call. Hey, still in Kansas City. I'll be there in the morning.
Yeah, I had to go tie up some loose ends.
The old loose ends.
Rolled in to the house, took a nap. Jumped in the Dulé. Was sitting in Adele, Iowa at 9:30.
You were sitting in my hotel first.
Right.
You said, I'll be there about such and such o'clock. I said, I don't even have that plan on being awake at that point in time. You said, good, I'll have breakfast.
Actually, wasn't a horrible drive.
It's not.
You know, I come back through Kirksville.
Mm-hmm.
Not horrible. Not horrible. Which I run.
Jesus.
I floated about halfway home. Because after I about fist fought the crackhead at the Days Inn.
I forgot about
Dude. It's the Days Inn. Like, it's all Days Inn and, like, in general.
You think Days Inn, and then you think Days Inn by Wyndham. You're like, hey, man, this one's a little bit.
Wrong.
This one's
wrong.
No,
You're wrong.
No, not so much.
Same shit happened to me at Bristol, dude.
Oh, God.
I'd been asleep for a minute, and this crackhead is just beating a luggage cart wall to wall. And I'll listen to it for a minute. He's screaming at somebody on speakerphone. Finally, I stuck my head out the door. I said, shut the fuck up, or I'm going to throw you off the balcony. He said, what'd you say?
You heard me.
So did I look like the crackhead because it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm standing out there screaming at a crackhead?
In your drawers?
Yeah. I had a hand in the door so it didn't lock on me.
Oh,
I was standing in my underwear and Crocs, about to throw this dude off the balcony.
West Des Moines problems. So
It got real quiet after that.
yeah, he must have untweaked.
Well, last time I seen him, he hit the fire escape and was running into the night.
Into the night. He's run like the wind blows.
Anyway,
Border Wars 2025.
let's talk about Thursday heats.
Ooh, buddy.
Like I said, I was driving, so I was watching this on my phone.
No, he had an Uber,
Yeah.
and he was watching it as he rode.
It was a closed course in Mexico.
You and Jake Schaefer. The heats, all the heats were
You know,
Wow.
they started a little different than I thought they were going to.
on Thursday. Yeah,
You could see politics playing out. Mm-hmm. That's my only issue with the format at Border Wars.
because on Rob Baker's episode, you know, he kind of explained we're not gonna let it be like it was last year, where you get 4 teams just raping one team. Well, it's a team show,
Right.
I mean, it is.
It's
but
really, really hard to delegate how people drive their cars.
correct.
We've been through this. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't tech them, put on the show, official them,
And then drive
build their
them.
cars, and then drive them for them. It doesn't work like that.
Yep.
At some point, you've got to let nature take over.
Yeah, I will say that. Kind of that animal
because
kingdom shit.
You take enough gang raping that eventually you're going to figure out how not to get gang raped. You know what I'm saying?
What's it protruded? Gang raped.
Yeah. But whenever they brought the 4 dudes to do it, you bring back 9.
Yes. Minnesota came locked, dude. They did. Iowa came locked too. Cody Pete, he's very good on the social media side when it's prepping for Border Wars.
Oh.
You know, we've talked to Cody. He's doing the Border Wars page, I think, too. Plus Snapchats, you know, showing teams coming in. Minnesota brought all the fucking wagons.
Yeah.
And Iowa brought clean ass iron. Jared Hinkle, nasty wagon, square body HDs.
We did our thing. We
Yep.
did our walk around. There was no expense spared on iron for this show.
No.
But there's a different sort of bragging rights that comes with winning Border Wars.
It is.
Because it's not just you that won. It's your state.
It's your state
Like, we're better than you.
plus you.
Yeah.
So when it comes into that single team setting, you know, you get through, you don't have to worry about it in the heat. Bando did Bando shit. Colton did Colton shit.
Yeah.
Missouri had some hammers, but they were reserved,
Yes.
in my opinion. And Thursday night while you were driving with buddies from Minnesota, and they hung together pretty good with Minnesota, Missouri last year after all that clusterfuck that went on. And, you know, they built some friendships there, you know, team on team, and I kind of figured that's how it was going to work. Well, the first heat, that kind of went out the window.
Yeah.
It was kind of mixed emotions and mixed sides of what was going on.
Well, dude,
you know.
whenever we were walking the pits Friday, you could hear the chatter. Uh-huh. I knew what was going to happen before that heat started.
Oh, the Concy on
Yes,
Friday?
sir.
Yeah. we won't get into the Concy quite yet.
Right.
But,
But I'm just
ooh,
saying,
buddy.
you could hear the chatter.
Yes. There's some discrepancies going on. Maybe some rumor mill going on, I would say. And in this sport, word travels pretty damn fast.
It's like dumping gas on the fire.
It is. Yeah, you want to spark a little something? Just throw that shit right over there. And next thing you know, 42 people know about it. So, you go on Thursday, Missouri, they were taking 6 out of each heat. Missouri got 5 out of the first one. And then it kind of changed.
I knew it was going to. And you should have too. Mm-hmm. And anybody with 2 eyes will know. You see a team or state dominating the first one. Yeah, do we want them to have 15 cars
Correct.
in this when we take off?
Yep.
So they stopped it.
Let's just say it right now. Feature, Missouri had 11. Minnesota had 9. Iowa had 9.
Pretty level playing field.
Pretty damn level for what Missouri had to work with. Zach O'Neill, he had to go through the consi. Motor was not right. Car was right.
Yeah.
Motor wasn't right.
He told us why though.
He needs he cornered me last night and he was like, I need a motor. I really need a motor. He's just been getting along so long with what he's got. He doesn't want to dump that cash in there when everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, because it wasn't like it's not working for him.
Correct. Thursday night heats, like I said, didn't quite go as I thought.
The first one did. It really did.
Yeah.
Because you could see where the line was drawn. Like, you could
Fast.
see. Yes.
Fast. Friday night.
All right, let's start with the compacts, my favorite class.
Team Missouri showed up.
And made quick work of said heats.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I mean, you get to the end of it, and you're looking at all but 2 of them are headed to the feature.
Yes. All but 2. And I'm pretty sure that one of the second one wouldn't have had to go through that consi.
Absolutely not. But he did the respectful thing ish. Not what I would have done whatsoever.
Oh no.
They would have had to come out there and broke mine off. Mm-hmm. Being so I was sitting next to a dead car.
Because we cornered him. And I was like, you do know that other car had his hand on his flag, right? He was getting to break it off. He said, didn't even see it. He said, I knew I just had 2 coming my way that were going to clean my shit completely off. And then I'd have still been hosed.
Right.
So he did that respectful thing, broke off. But when you stick Jacob and Joshua Wood, Kurt Turpin, Greg Neal, Wesley Jordan, Pimp City, some Schoenfelds from down south, you're going to have you a show.
Well, first off, all that shit was right. As far as build. Seth had some motor troubles. We watched how his game plan was, though.
Yep. But we watch it change.
Uh-huh.
We watch it what he was wanting to do, and he knew he couldn't.
Well, we heard Greg talk himself into...
Fucking send it.
Yeah. I was like, you just ask us a question and then argued with yourself and come up with an answer.
Greg come up to me and he said, if this thing is going to get turned, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going. I was okay.
And Seth said, well, I'm going to drive like that.
That's about the only way that boy knows how to drive. That way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have hard-fought heats, but they have all drove on the same track and stuff so much.
Mm-hmm. Maybe not on the same team,
right.
But
they've all been together out there.
Yes.
So it's just it's crazy to watch them.
Kurt, Jacob, and Jonathan. I mean, they've been running together for years.
Looked like a carousel.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Just going around and around and around and hitting shit all in the middle of it.
Yep. One of them would hit somebody. They'd see one of them that was getting, pushed up against the wall or whatever. Here come another one.
Yeah. So most everybody goes through on Friday. On the compact side, on the Missouri side, Iowa just kind of had some bad luck. Nebraska only brought 3 cars.
Right.
Kansas, I think, maybe brought 5. I think Minnesota had their full. Iowa was full. Missouri was full. So that played out kind of what I thought.
The Iowa side of things surprised me because they had they had decent.
They had good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had good shit. They didn't have one that was lacking.
They
their
didn't
build.
seem like they'd run together.
A few of them have.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It didn't look like that.
Correct. Yeah, but usually when you're talking something like that, you're seeing those national level guys, even on the compact side,
Right.
that are used to running a team show or at least a carnage, a one and done type of deal. A lot of those guys I didn't recognize. I mean, Jake Flater, that's one thing. He does what he does. But, you're missing a Tyler Ford. You're missing Molders. You're missing that shit, the Hayes boys that you're used to seeing. So when you don't take them guys, I think it kind of lets you maybe fly under the radar a little bit. Because if you're a compact guy and you're looking at the team list and
everybody, you hear me?
you see a Jacob Wood, a Joshua Wood, a Kurt Turpin, you know what them guys bring. And then you see a Jake Flater and you know what he's going to bring a couple of bad dudes
Well,
with him.
he's not going to bring anybody with him that he doesn't.
Trust.
Yeah.
And we don't mean that in the friendship sense. We mean that in, are you going to leave me hanging out, or are you going to make sure you bring your bad shit you can bring?
Right.
So let's get into the Consi.
I told
For
you.
the Border Wars.
We were all standing there. They're cleaning the track off, and I said, I'm going to go over here. I said,
He said, I'm going to that end.
I said, I got to go get over here because I need this video. And I'm standing there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Mason and Kunkel are drag racing to see who can get to the other side faster.
And all hell broke loose.
Which I knew it was going to. Mm-hmm. I knew, that's what I told Derek. I said, we're going to want pictures of this. We're going to want some video. I said, because the ones that backed in, I knew where they were going.
Let's stop them. Let's stop that real quick. So on Thursday, when you lined up for your heats, you went nose to nose in the middle. Okay. Consi,
Back to the wall.
they went wall to wall. They put
Best decision they could have made.
X amount of Minnesota guys on one side, and then the rest of the few Missouri guys and the Iowa guys on the other side. It's like they set it up for that to happen.
I'm glad they did.
You seeing that same exact shit?
Well, that's what I told you. I said, I gotta get down there. Because Bando and Mason met in the middle. Well, no offense, Sam.
No in the middle.
No.
Because I talked to Sam yesterday.
It was 3/4 a quarter is what it was.
And I said, Kunkel came over. We was all kind of standing there, and Sam said, that motherfucker. It's like, what? He's like, he wasn't even lined up across from me. I was looking at who was lined up across from me. He said, the next thing I know, and I went, oh, shit. And he just said, I tried to turn into it to get it to straight.
And he did not get there.
He said, too late. But Kunkel talked to Dylan, and Dylan came over on that morning, need a radiator. And he said, I got about 3 good shots. He says, unless I can make one really good one count. His motor, it wasn't one of his good motors, and that son of a bitch chirped and chirped and chirped from Thursday night.
Right.
So he knew he was on borrowed time anyways. So he's like, well, if I'm going out,
Take somebody with me.
somebody's going with me. And somebody went with them. They did.
Yes. Whenever, I've posted a couple videos, and everybody's like, oh, man, it junked that Vic. And I'm like, it junked the clip.
Correct.
Pushed back just a touch, but it's still straight as a pin. And they were like, yeah, did you all see that old iron back off that? I was like, kinda. So he wasn't steering shit after that.
No, I mean, and Dylan pretty much sit pretty damn close to where the impact was when he broke off. So, I mean, we did talk, and Dylan was like, it didn't bend where I put my plates. It
Right.
bent behind it. He's like, everybody knows that's where it's gonna go.
Right.
That's the weak spot. And he said, I just knew I didn't have enough to last, so I was just gonna hurt some feelings. And they're buddies.
Right.
That's the problem. They ran together in the past. So, and then Sam, it was a pretty big surprise because most of these guys are pretty secretive.
Yeah.
We've talked about that hundreds of times, how secretive they are, because then you might see Bando this weekend, and then see his ass next month in Utah for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then back to Tarrant, Tennessee. There was enough hammers and enough precision for every team to make that show really, really, really good. Compact side as well.
Yeah.
The 2-man bone stock shit. Dude, I mean, we witnessed Matt Gill right here local to us and Junior Cardwell doing their shit on Thursday night for the 2-man one and done feature. And then you turn around and see Junior and his dad
Right.
on Saturday. So Junior run 3 cars
A total of 4 times.
in 3 days. That would suck.
That's why he's daddy.
How about the T-Bone class, the Mad Dog class, on Saturday?
All right. You weren't with me. You were still manned in the stand. I took a stroll.
As you do.
You know me. I'm a wanderer. I went and looked at these Mad Dog cars. Never in my life would I have expected to see that many fresh cars built for that class.
You are not the only person that said that.
Dude,
Not the only person.
It was wild. 12 plates on them shits, or 10 if you tilt it.
Yep.
Cut and tilt.
So I think
But if you cold bit, you still have all 12.
yes, but I think the reason why we saw all those fresh cars is because the rules for that class are pretty different from what all these guys are going to run, unless they're going to build it fresh and then go take a pre-run where they can
Right.
put a few more plates on, like a T-Bone at Oski where it's fucking almost a mock car.
97 plates.
Yes. And I know that's changed, but, so you're seeing Jamie McKim and Atchison and Tyler Klaus, Tyler Ray, Henry Ray, Cody Pete.
Like,
Oh,
Dude.
boy.
okay, so anybody that listens, I know that you all go look up what we're talking about a lot. I know you all have had to have looked back on videos of the Ray Boys.
I'm going to stop you right there. You left. You were gone.
Yeah.
Did you know that said Ray Boys, Tyler, pulled it out of the tech barn, or it was in the tech
I
barn
was there.
on Saturday?
I was there.
You weren't there on Saturday. You
Oh,
were
no.
there on Friday. They put the heads on Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Okay, see my
Yeah.
days are screwed up. You had to put a set of heads on that thing.
Yeah, I
He
was
didn't bring
back
a
there.
spare set of heads
Oh no, he bought them right beside us.
right beside us, and he said, "I'm gonna melt it down." I was like, "Boy, that's an expensive ass meltdown because them were not stock LS heads." Oh, them boys! Holy
But you had a
shit.
valve bad.
Yeah, it was like
And didn't think he's got better ears than I do, which he knows his motor.
correct.
We were sitting back there and he's like, it's popping. I don't hear it. What I heard was more like an exhaust gasket. It was bad. I mean, you get a back pop every once in a while. You know, like it was pulling air from somewhere. He's like, nah, I think it's fucked up. So me and his brother are like up in the fender well, like trying to listen for this. I don't hear anything. Took it up to Tech Barn. And he said people were ducking.
They thought they were getting shot at.
Yeah. He's like, well, we're not doing that. So it wasn't 20 minutes later, I looked over, and they've got the motor laying apart.
The whole top half of it could plumb off.
And then, what was it, about 4:30, we hear just rev limiter. I was like, well, he must have got his motor back together. Everybody's like, I can't be good on that motor. I was like, you should see what's going to happen to it tomorrow night.
The entire time. Because that's how they drive.
Yeah. They've got no reverse. They can go backwards like 4 steps a minute. You can push the car faster backwards.
Then it'll go in reverse.
Yeah.
Yep.
But whenever they go forward, it's usually 4th.
All of it.
And tell me I'm wrong.
No.
They will back up into somewhere, and then they will slide over and down and hold it on the floor and sidestep the clutch.
Cody Pete. But, a couple years ago in Nebraska at Stanton at Border Wars, and, a lot of these guys that we meet, we become buddies with, Snapchat, text, whatever. I mean, you can call and bullshit for 45 minutes on a drive somewhere. Cody was pretty nervous because Cody was going to run this Mad Dog class, and I said, do you got any buddies? He said, well... He said, I have talked to Henry and Tyler. I said, good boy. Don't leave their side. I was like, but ready because you're going to be running mock Jesus to the other end of it.
Dude, I told him. Whenever he come down there, he's like, I don't think I'm going to run with Tyler and them. And I'm like, stay beside him. He's like, why? I was like, I don't know that they can remember what your car looks like. I said, because them boys don't have time to think when they're driving.
No, they just go. They just hold to the fucking floor.
And look for a
go.
shot.
Yeah.
Because you don't ever see them doing that passenger door bullshit and stuff like that. I mean, they'll wipe whole clip off your car. Or theirs. They don't care.
They're attempting. On each other.
Seen them do it.
Yeah.
Before they were down to them.
Yes.
After that show, I come back there. I was like, were y'all mad at each other? Did y'all get into it at the shop? I said, y'all jumped on each other before it was even down to you two.
And they usually just shrug their shoulders. But that class, wide open the entire time. That is what that class was supposed to be. Period. When you run a memorial show like that for a guy who drove like that, that is what you want. 0 bagging. Mopar Express was there, and they junked their shit on their own shit.
Yeah.
That's how that's supposed to go. That's how that's supposed to work. So that ramped the show up. The Saturday Youth show, woo boy. I can't even remember the kid who won it. But these kids are driving Jesse Gonzalez's daughter, Sophia. She run 4th. She can barely see over the goddamn steering wheel at the age of 14. There's little kids in there with booster seats and pads and, like 9-year-old Hayden Phillips was there all the way from Illinois. PJ Sonar rode with him. There's that reason, but PJ is very good in that passenger seat. If I was to have somebody in that passenger seat for my kid,
well, I'd way rather have him in the passenger seat than the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No. It depends on who shits in the car, I guess.
If it's mine, for sure.
No, you sit.
You're in timeout.
Chris DeFlorian's kid. Chris Rode. I mean, these kids are in good pieces and can drive the shit out of them. Remember that age discrepancy that we were talking about with Rob? You know, if you qualified when, like last year's show was to 8 to 15, so the kid qualified for this year. Well, the kid's 16, but the show dropped to 14. But since he was qualified, you can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. You can tell them 10, 11, 12-year-olds, and you could damn sure tell those 14 and 15, and then him and that 16-year-old. They wheeled them. They junked them. Kudos to the kids. I still need to get with Cody.
Looked like they had a blast.
Because the winner got another. They got some broadhead decal door wraps that we did there. One of I'm not sure what number he was. 244, 255. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some homework. Compact feature. Whew.
That's Greg Neal.
Whew. Ask Greg Neal which part. The door bar part?
Yeah.
The door bar that almost looked like it almost touched the center bar?
Yes.
That part? That is when...
You know, he said the only thing after that, though, he said he needs elbow pads. He said that's the only thing that hurts on his arm.
His elbow?
Yep.
That started how I figured and then completely flipped.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was Iowa wide open, one into the other, hitting anything blue and white they could possibly hit.
How'd that work out for him?
Not well, because they broke their own shit.
Yeah.
While the Missouri guys were just kind of driving, picking their shots how they needed. So, you know, I guess Missouri had enough patience to let the Mad Dog themselves out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they knocked Greg Neal's bumper off. There was some, yeah. But it comes down to, you know, Kurt Turpin and Joshua Wood. Jacob Wood, I think, caught a little bit of fire. He got a little hot under the collar. You know, so when it comes down to them guys, and they're not going to cut us. They're not going to cut any slack on each other. So, Team Missouri, congratulations to all 9 of you. Way to represent.
Yeah.
Border Wars class. We already hit on it. 11 Missouri cars, 9 Minnesota cars, 9 Iowa cars. Good looking cars. Junior Eddie had unfortunate events on Thursday night. Wasn't a motor trouble, it was a carb issue. It just kept flooding itself. So he goes back out in the consi, and he's doing his consi thing on Friday and pulls the yoke plumb out. And there it is.
Well, see, and I was standing there. And he looked over at me, and I just went like, hey, dude.
Yeah, you gone. Go
He's
in
like,
there.
because he did the old, wah, and then pulled her back. Did it again, and I was like, that was shit luck.
It was. I mean, did it change the outcome of the show? No, it didn't. Because I think with one more hammer.
Caden might not have won.
Correct. When it comes down to, the end there, they came down to Denny Weaver, Caden Eddy, Wyatt Oberly, and Julian Suter were the last 4 Missouri cars running when the last Iowa car went out. Julian Suter's car, if you were not there, you need to go to DerbyNation.tv, get onto your homie's account who watched it, and you will see what I'm talking about. There was not a body panel attached on the entire left side. nosed up, still steering it, almost in that compact limp mode, and that fucker would never die. It would never stop. It would never quit. But we've seen Julian do that. I saw him the first year we went to Border Wars in Stanton. He was the only Missouri car that came out in the Consi, and he made it through the feature. And he was a fucking pinball for minutes.
That's a true definition of rubbing the paint off of it.
Yep. He was taking door shots. He was taking quarter shots, wheel shots, and never gave up. Never. Like we said, Colton was doing Colton shit. Jarek was getting ready to do Jarek shit.
Yeah.
Caden played it really, really smart. And so did Denny.
Yeah.
But their cars looked really good. Caden's car looked really good after the heat. Denny's car was a little, I'm going to say ass end, hurt. But
Dude,
that,
the ass and the cadence.
oh, retarded. And they had a Mini X over there. I think Kyle Mason had his Mini X there for him. And skid steers, and they were working on trunks. Cody Hendren, I got Snapchat. That Mini X had that grapple grip on it, and he put it on each side of the quarter and then pulled both quarters in at the same time before he even thought about rolling it up and pack. Well, his trunk looked really good last night until Colton decided it would not needed to look like that.
Well, I hate to do this to you, but I just got a text message that it sounds like the drain at my washing machine is flooding my house.
Oh, nice.
So I think I'm going to let you finish this,
Nice.
and I'm going to go deal with that.
Go deal with that before you get to go to Kansas.
Yeah. I just got that text.
Awesome.
She said, washer won't drain. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, it's draining, but not.
In the drain.
Yeah. So
I'm going to blame Morse because he probably climbed up on top of it and then
there's-
took the drain tube out of the tube.
I hope it's that simple.
All right.
So wrap this up, and I'll catch you.
Roger that.
Thanks, sir.
Later, bro. So that's this is what we get to deal with. It's hard to schedule anything. So, Caden doing Caden stuff, Jarek doing Jarek stuff, Denny, Sidney Weir, first big show that he goes to Border Wars, drove like a madman. Junior Cardwell, team captain, did everything possible, head on a swivel, but you know what Junior can do since the age of 14. So none of these guys, the teams were a little bit different than what I figured we were going to see. Malachi Ray drove his balls off. Did I ever think I'd see him for Team Missouri in Border Wars? No, I didn't. So great show. Action-packed, wide open, just getting it on. Great facility. I didn't get the name of the kid who got the raffle car to take home, but we kind of figured it out. It's roughly $20,000 of equipment that this kid is going to get to go send whenever he chooses to. So, guys, when we go to a show like this, I don't have time to do anything else other than Snapchat, something like that. So, we will get into Pecatonica results later on because that was Ultimate Derby, Midwest Massacre, Party at Peck for the last time. Car counts changed stuff, so they had to change around their format a little bit. But everything that I saw, it looked like it was wide open as normal for any UD stuff. The pace was pushed and just everything that I've heard is a really good show. We have got some local stuff coming up. The week after this drops, right here in Madison, Mid-Mo Promotions is Danny Hobbs and Tyler Verdon. We're going to try to get them guys in here before that show to talk about it, especially on that youth side. We really like that youth side, and anybody that knows us, we're going to help those youth out as much as we can and push those shows as much as we can too. So, but next weekend, Pleasant Hill, Illinois Summer Fair Show. I believe we will be there. I think unless I get struck down, I will be there. Austin and I had talked. We're going to try to go Facebook Live as long as we can do. As long as I've got service, I've got buddies over there that says, "Hey, my cell phone service works great. If you got to, you can go off my hotspot, use my phone for a hotspot." So we have every intention of that is what's going to happen next Saturday. So when you're listening to this, just make sure you go to Domination Motorsports Southern Number 9 Tour, and you will be able to see the flyers of what classes. I think it's minivans, mini trucks, SUVs, hobo compacts, and hobo big cars. It's going to be wide open as normal. I'll try to get the best seat I can or the best stand that I can to try to get everything in there because that is a pretty big track. So we have a few shirts left. We have some hats left. I'm gonna bring those with us to Pleasant Hill. All my little man shirts are got sold out this weekend. We've got 2XL, 3XLT, and 4XL, and then we have a few of the white and black hats and a few of the gray and black hats left that I will have with me over there. So, guys, it's crazy. Summer's crazy. We're gonna get through some local stuff here before we jump off into some Utah stuff. So, thanks for hanging out. Thank you, everybody who came to visit the booth and buy cups and shirts and hats and try to hook as many people up with stickers as we can. So thank you to Triple B Tees for getting them shirts to us in such a timely manner. So all your t-shirt needs, hook up Triple B's Tees right on Facebook, or you can go to the online store. If you're wanting some different shirts that we have out but don't have in our possession, you can go right on his online store, pick out a couple of different designs that Chunk has for us, and they can ship them right to your door. Broadhead decals, doing Justin stuff. Super fast turnaround. You guys hear the commercial, you know what's going on. He'll get you hooked up for your roof sign and door wrap needs. JM Race Engines hooking us up, helping us out, doing what he can do. And when somebody jumps on board to support youth, you jump on to support them. So DerbyNation.tv, guys, you can go back, rewatch. If you rent it, you could watch it for another 30 days. Border Wars 2025 Adele, Iowa. So you guys heard this has changed a little bit. So we're going to cut this one a little bit shorter. But we'll see you guys at Pleasant Hill next weekend. Madison the weekend after that. Then schedules could change. So, well, there's only one thing left to do. Make junk, boys.
Since Justin has been on board with us at Hard Nose, we have figured out how much Broadhead Decals means to the sport of demolition derby. His great quality parts are seen from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
But he can do more than just derby products. Your everyday business may need some pep in its step with new banners or stickers. And just give him an idea and let him run with it. Whether it's business related or just want to look badass in the winner circle, let Broadhead Decals work for you.
We do.
DerbyNation.tv is your one-stop shop for your Demolition Derby pay-per-view needs. With a schedule like no other, you can catch all the shows you want to watch at the touch of a button from the comfort of your living room without leaving your house. But pay-per-view derbies aren't the only thing that they can get you. You can also carry a monthly subscription to watch the ever-growing Derby Builds, where you get all the behind-the-scenes action on different build processes with the Derby Builds team, including team show cars and even some national level youth builds.
And if you can't make it to that big show in person, go ahead, host that shop watch party, and let DerbyNation.tv bring excitement of Demolition Derby action straight to your shop live on your TV.